Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's the big day. We are celebrating our 100k subscribers by doing my first Q&A. You guys sent me a lot of questions, so without any further ado, let's get started. The first category is personal life. First question, what is your real name? My Korean name is Sonyoung, which means to be kind and to shine. My family name is Min. So in Korea, you would call me Min Sonyoung. In Canada, my English name is Jasmin. And actually, a lot of you guys ask me why I have an Indian name. It's just a funny coincidence. When we moved to Canada, we were staying with a Korean family, and the daughter, she actually first suggested the name Ashley, but it was so foreign to me and I just couldn't pronounce it. I was like, Ashley. So then she suggested Jasmine, and I was obsessed with Aladdin at the time, so I was like, yeah, Princess Jasmine, I'll take her name. And that's how I became Jasmine. What is your age? So this question I get asked the most often, and in one of my videos I actually revealed that I was born in the year of the snake, and I thought that would be a dead giveaway because there's no way I look 12 years younger or 12 years older. But someone commented and said that, oh, year of the snake, you must be born in 2001, the same year as my sister. And I was actually like, because no, I was not born in 2001, but in 1989, baby. That makes me 36 in October this year. But right now I'm 35. What is your height? I am 168 centimeters or 5'6". How many siblings do you have? I have one older brother who is 3 years older than me. What is your religion? Okay, so I don't identify myself with a religion. I have a set of beliefs, but I don't have a name for it because I believe faith, or what you believe in, is one-on-one relationship between you and God or whatever you believe in. It doesn't have to be stated out. And I personally believe all the religions in the world at the end of the day say the same thing. We are all connected, we are one, we're all brothers and sisters, and we are all loved. We come from this unconditional love, and I think the idea of religion was kind of created to create this illusion of division so some people can have power or feel superior over others, and I don't like that. I don't want to be a part of it, and that's why I'm not attached to any religion. I just practice my beliefs and that's it. Show up in the world as who I am, not attached to any religion. So what I believe is that the universe is divine, and her divine energy is within all of us. We come from this place of ultimate knowing, of unconditional love, and we're all spiritual beings having a human experience rather than human beings having a spiritual experience. And I also believe in karma and the karmic cycle and in past lives. So right now, what I'm trying my best to do is live a life free of karma or creating new karmas. I'm trying to end that cycle, and I'm trying to live my best life, a fulfilling life, so I have absolutely no regrets or even an ounce of desire to come back here, because I don't want to come back. When I die, this life, I will leave this body and my soul will go back home to that place of ultimate knowing, and I just want to stay there. Maybe I'll become a spirit guide, but I just don't want to come back to earth. As much as I love it and I think it's a beautiful journey, I just don't want to go through the suffering again before I come to that realization and the freedom after spiritual awakening. It was a really tough journey, so I think once was enough. I really believe I've had so many past lives before, and I finally come to this life to end it. This will be my last life as a human being, and this is what I'm going to leave behind, and hopefully it helps someone. What is your background in terms of education / career before YouTube? So I studied fashion design in college. It was something that I was really passionate about. I actually even wanted to just skip high school and go straight into college and graduate as fast as possible so I can work in the real industry. But little did I know, once I actually started working in the industry, I discovered that the world of fashion design is very closely tied to the world of commercialism, materialism, and fake beauty. And it really didn't align with my values. The reason why I fell in love with fashion design was because of the creative aspect of it, the colors, the patterns, the performance of putting up a show. It actually took a lot of courage to decide that this is not for me and to finally quit, because when I did, I no longer had that subject of passion, that burning desire, the fire I had. It no longer had a place to go. I felt so empty after. All this passion was gone, and I was just left with this void, this emptiness, and I felt really lost in life. I didn't know what to do. I was very vulnerable, And that's when I just took my mom's suggestion of working for the government, and somehow I got a job within the government. In a way, it was a curse in disguise because it was slowly draining my soul. It was not for me. What made it worse is the fact that it is very widely accepted as this dream job for many people made me feel like I was stealing this opportunity from someone who really wants it. What was really scary was that it put me in this comfort zone, and it was really hard to get out of it, and I was stuck in it for 10 years. But then I finally discovered self-love and self-worth and decided to quit and create my dream life. And here I am. Next category, relationships. Are you dating anyone? No, I am single and haven't been on a single date for the past more than 2 years. And the only thing I've been focusing on during that time was building this healthy relationship with myself. It's something I've never done before. I'm trying my best to find my authentic self and heal my inner child and practice self-forgiveness. When are you getting married? I have no idea. I don't have any plans for it. It's something that I am not very interested in, to be honest. If it happens naturally, I'll welcome it. If not, I'm okay living the rest of my life in solitude. I think there is real beauty in that, having that true freedom to be on your own and not be attached to anyone. There's so much self-discovery that comes along with it, and I think it could be a very beautiful devotion to just live a life of solitude. But if I were to get married, the next question asks, what qualities are you looking for in your romantic partner? Okay, so are you guys ready? It's gonna be a very long list because my standards are now like through the roof. I will not settle for less. I would say the most important quality is to have shared values, one of them being self-love. I truly believe self-love is the answer to most of, if not all of our problems. If you have self-love, you have self-respect. And if you have self-respect, you respect everyone around you because you understand that these people, they all deserve to be loved. They're all worthy of love. And it becomes so natural to you to treat people the way you want to be treated. It would also have to be someone who's healed their inner child or let go of all their past traumas or insecurities, or at least be aware of it, and they're actively trying to grow out of that, let go of that story, the resentment, be free of all these triggers, and they are their healthiest and best version of themselves, and they come without any baggage or insecurities. What I want in a relationship is when two individuals come and they're already whole and complete, and they come together and they bring out the best in each other, and you just thrive and spend time together to celebrate life in this beautiful harmony and partnership. All right, now onto the next category of random fun questions. First one, what is your favorite food? It would have to be tteokbokki, which is this rice cake smothered in spicy and sweet sauce. It's a part of Korean street food, and I love it so much. The rice cake is so chewy, and I could eat it every day. Who is your favorite soccer player? I don't have one. I'm not that into sports, but I do get a little crazy sometimes when it comes to these like big global Olympic or World Cup games. What type of music do you often listen to? So there's this Korean band called Nell. I grew up listening to them, especially during the darkest times of my life. Their lyrics are so beautiful. It used to heal me so much. I felt so heard through their messages. I actually started listening to it more often recently, and it's just, whenever I listen to their music, it almost feels like I'm floating in space, and it's such a beautiful experience. Name your top 4 favorite movies of all time. Okay, this is really hard, but Fight Club, Emily, Leon the Professional, and Ponyo. What is your favorite K-drama? Okay, my favorite K-drama of all time is 네 멋대로 해라. It is such a heartbreaking story, and the acting is phenomenal. Oh my god. So sad. What's one fun fact about you that your subscribers might not know? I love to go skinny dipping, which means swimming naked in a body of water, usually in nature. Always in nature for me. I've only done it a few times in my life. It's not every day you get an opportunity to swim naked in public, but every time I did, it's just the most freeing, liberating feeling ever, to be completely like on your own skin, like no layers, and you're immersed in water. And you guys know I love water. I feel so connected to Mother Earth, universe when I'm in it, and to be in it naked, nothing but me and myself and this body, it's heaven. Describe your journey till now in 3 words. I would say love, gratitude, and resilience. Why are you so pretty and your smile so beautiful? What is your beauty secret? I would say being happy. And I really believe inner beauty equals outer beauty, but outer beauty doesn't equal inner beauty. It has to come from within. The smile has to come from within. Will you ever forget the day when you fell inside the poop tank? Nope. That story will be kept for a lifetime. I love telling it. I love seeing the reactions of people. It's hilarious. Next category is travel. What inspired you to start traveling? Okay, story time. This was in college. I was going to visit Korea for the first time since 1999 when I left, and it's been almost 8-9 years, I think, at this time. And this flight had a layover in San Francisco, and I told my mom that's the flight I'm going to take, and she was like, oh, if you're going to San Francisco, why don't I come with you and we can stay a week there, and then you can go to Korea and I'll come back to Toronto. And I was like, what is in San Francisco? Like, what do you know about it? And she's like, I don't know, we'll go find out. And I was like, okay. I mean, she was paying for it, so why not? I had nothing to lose. And we went with absolutely zero research. We just booked this Airbnb. No, we booked a bed and breakfast for a whole week, and we showed up. And when we were checking in, the owner had this map of the area and of all the places that we can visit, and I was like, well, here's our itinerary. This is perfect. We'll just follow this map. And literally every morning we'll just wake up and look at the map and say, what do you want to do today? I don't know, let's go discover this area. And that's what we did for a whole week. There was absolutely no planning. Everything was spontaneous. And that's what travel is like for me, is just to play and go back to being a child with so much curiosity and seeing the world like a child sees it for the first time. Just trying new things and discovering new things about myself, interacting with the locals, learning about their cuisines, their culture, their traditions, and exploring our nature. Mother Earth, she's beautiful and bountiful. I can't get enough. I love discovering hidden gems, and it's just so much fun for me. How did you get the strength to travel by yourself knowing it could be dangerous? Okay, so we live in a world where we're fed so much information from the media, from the people, that this world is not safe, especially for girls. And for a girl to travel around the world by herself, no, you can't do that. But I'm here to tell you that this world is very safe and has more good people than bad people. There's so much beauty and so much kindness and compassion you can experience literally every day if you step outside the door. And the only way I could find that out was taking that initial step to get outside my comfort zone, try this daring thing of traveling solo as a female. And just like that, I was able to open a new door, and now that has opened up so many new possibilities. What really gave me the strength was this belief that I could do it. I could challenge myself to do it. I've come this far. I am strong enough. If I was able to overcome all the struggles and challenges life has thrown at me, then I can overcome the challenge I give myself. And just like that, it switched something off in my brain, like literally, and I was fearless. The most memorable place you've visited so far, and what is the one thing you will cherish forever at that place? I was in Sri Lanka, and 2 other friends and me, when we're trying to visit this waterfall, okay, it's the second tallest waterfall in Sri Lanka, and we were told if you go there you'll find people just hanging around who can guide you through the trail and go to the top of the waterfall. When we went, we couldn't find any people, so we just went off to this little trail that we thought was the right one. And soon enough we discovered it wasn't, because the trail kind of disappeared and we were literally like in the woods, and we have to hike up in a straight line because there was no space around us. And all of a sudden this guy at the front, he starts screaming on top of his lungs, and we're all like, why? And we're freaking out, what's going on? And she doesn't answer, he's just screaming, and we're like, oh my god. But I couldn't even like run up to him, and I was just like, what is going on? And then eventually he said, there's a leech, I got bit by a leech. And I was freaking out a little bit because till then I had 0 experiences with leech, so I didn't know what to do. So at this point, we as a group had to make the decision to either keep going or give it up and go back down. We all agreed that it would be safer and wiser to go back down, because this is not a proper trail. We are gonna get ourselves into big trouble. So we slid back down on our asses because it was so steep. And that's when we saw this group of people just hanging around, and one of them offered to be a guide. So he took us around to the back, and this is a trail we would have otherwise never found on our own. And we came to this first little waterfall that went into this pool, like natural pool, and I was like, oh my god, this is my playground, this is it. So the three of us had so much fun, just cliff jumping, swimming, and soaking in the sun. And then a couple hours later, the guide comes. Okay, are you guys ready to go to the next spot? And we were like, there's more? Like this, I thought this was it. This is already like the best thing we ever discovered in Sri Lanka. And I was like, oh, come on, let's go. And he takes us to the top of the waterfall that we were at the bottom. Like this is the second tallest waterfall in Sri Lanka, you guys. It is massive, and we have this entire view. There's literally a cliff, the massive waterfall, and then this view, this vast view of like wilderness, greens, rocks. It was beautiful. And the best thing was, because we wasted some time getting lost in the beginning, by the time we reached this main waterfall, people were all leaving and the sun was just setting. It was magical. We literally had the entire place just to ourselves with this beautiful sunset, and we were swimming in this pool on top of the second tallest waterfall in Sri Lanka. It was, I just couldn't believe it. Till this day, sometimes just still feels like a dream. You know, I'm so lucky that I've had so many of these memories or moments where I feel so deeply loved, because I was at the right place at the right time with the right people, and I just couldn't ask for more. It was perfect. It was magical. And moments like these really makes me feel like the world and the universe is looking out for me. Like I'm worthy of such experiences. And that's what I will cherish forever, is that I am deeply loved. Which country is the best to visit on a limited budget and have the best experience? So I'm currently in Thailand, and Thailand is very special to me because it's the country I visited for my first solo trip, but it's also very budget friendly and you can have an awesome time here. The infrastructure is amazing, people are friendly, the food is incredible, and it's very clean and it's very safe, and I recommend it for first solo trips as well. Mention one benefit of traveling around the world. Only one. Well, you get to learn, and when you learn, you get to grow, and when you grow, you thrive. All right, next category is all on India. What inspired you to visit India and Nagaland? Okay, so for India, in 2003, I was watching this fashion show on TV by John Galliano, and he used holy powders and sprinkled it on the models. And every time they walked or like twirled the skirt, it would just puff out this holy powder, and it was so beautiful. It looked like it was dancing, very colorful, and I was like, what is this? And at first I thought it was John Galliano's invention. I thought he was a genius, but it turns out it was inspired by Holi festival in India. And from that moment on, this little seed was planted in my brain, and I had to experience Holi festival in India. And last year in 2024, after 21 years later of planting the seed, I got to finally see it blossom, and I got to experience the Holi festival in real life on my first day of India, actually, and it was everything I could ever dreamed of. For Nagaland, when I was doing my research to visit India for the first time, I saw videos of Meghalaya, and I was like, wow, I didn't know this part of India existed. So I decided to visit, and when I shared that video of Meghalaya, I got so many comments from people telling me to visit Nagaland and experience the Hornbill Festival. And I've never heard of Nagaland before in my entire life, and I looked it up, the Hornbill Festival, and I immediately knew I had to go, because I love tribal cultures, the traditions, the dances, the food, the clothing, the music. I just find it so beautiful. And when I left India in April, I knew I was gonna come back in December for the Hornbill Festival, and I did. And wow, little did I know that would turn into this entire saga of exploring Nagaland and meeting all these people. I would have never imagined, honestly, I would have never known that would happen. And dreams come true. Right, next question. 3 good and 3 bad things about Nagas. Okay, 3 good things is easy. The number 1 would be hospitality. It's something I have never experienced traveling around the world. It is on another level. Not only do they treat you like family, I think they treat you better than family, like you're some kind of royal guest, and they're always trying to look out for you and take care of you. I mean, my entire Nagaland series wouldn't have been possible without the beautiful hospitality of the Nagas. Number 2 is safety. Nagaland is a place I felt for the first time ever in my life that it was safe enough for me to raise a daughter, and that is saying a lot. It gives me the confidence that nothing bad will ever happen to her. Like, that's how safe I felt in Nagaland. Number 3 is community. They have created this sense of community, of belonging that I've never seen anywhere else, and something that's lost sadly in a lot of the societies in today's world. So to see that and experience that in real life and not to see it from like old K-dramas, I was like, wow, this is real, this exists, and it was beautiful. All right, 3 bad things about Nagas. You guys asked for it, so I'm gonna be brutally honest. The first one is a lack of privacy. Just like everything in life, everything has its good and bad sides, and this important sense of community forms this lack of privacy because they are one community. They're not individuals. They almost don't understand this idea of privacy. Like, a neighbor could show up uninvited and they're welcome. Like, that is the beautiful aspect of it. But okay, I'll give you a couple examples. One time I attended an event, and at this time I was kind of going viral in Nagaland, so everybody was recognizing me. And I got a message from someone saying, hey, I saw you today. I didn't say hi, but I took so many videos and pictures of you. And I was shocked because to me, in the Western society or even in Korea, like, that is just not allowed. You don't do that. That is complete invasion of privacy. It could be illegal in some places. I'll give you another example. I was being hosted one time. People knew where I was staying, and one morning I woke up at 8:45. I had just gotten out of bed and I was like in the kitchen drinking my tea. I was still waking up, half asleep, and there were 3 or 4 of them, like other content creators, who showed up without my knowledge. Maybe the host knew, but I wasn't told. I was completely unaware, and they showed up and they asked to do an interview. I was so shocked because what I would expect of that situation would be for them to reach out to me in advance and explain what they do, what kind of content they create, and why the interview would be beneficial to both parties, and ask for permission. And upon agreement, that's when you show up to do the interview. But they just showed up. So of course I said no, and they were like, oh, don't worry, like, it's just gonna be informal, just a few questions. You look great right now, let's just do it. And I'm like, no. And they had a hard time accepting my answer. It almost seemed like they were having a hard time understanding why I would say no, like, how dare she say no. But I do understand, after living in Nagaland for 2 months, where it comes from. It is just a cultural difference. It doesn't make them a bad person. It's just what it is. The second one on the list is a bit funny and ironic in a way, because Nagaland is a dry state, meaning alcohol is prohibited, but when there's a will, there's a way, and there are people drinking at all times, all the time. There's alcohol everywhere. And the funniest thing is that I don't know if it's because it's illegal or I don't know why, but they seem to have, okay, this is gonna hurt some of your egos, but I feel like from my experience, Nagas don't really know how to handle their alcohol. And I say this because I can't even count the number of times I've seen people getting stupid drunk and getting into stupid fights and yelling and just being angry for no reason. Or they would just repeat the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. It drove me nuts. One time at the Hornbill Festival, because everyone that was coming up to me were pretty drunk and just repeating the same thing or asking the same questions over and over again, I got tired of it. And you know, when you can't beat them, join them. So I got myself drunk, and the only thing I could drink at the time was whiskey. I hate whiskey, but this was the time when I got to learn and like whiskey. So I got myself a little drunk and I was able to enjoy the night. But overall, they don't really drink alcohol responsibly. They're always getting wasted, and I've seen so many people drink and drive, so that's not good, you guys. All right, the last one, I've noticed a lot of division within Nagaland, not only between the different tribes, but also them trying to divide themselves from the rest of India, which to a certain degree, I understand and respect. I do understand the uniqueness of the different tribes, like, that should be preserved. But you don't need to create a division or conflict. You can be different and accept each other and just exist in harmony and unity. You don't need to create this divide, this wall, and say, hey, I'm better than you, or, you know, we're different. And this is something I've noticed in my comments of my latest video, the wedding video, of so many people telling me to be careful in mainland India because it's not safe. A part of me understands where it's coming from, because I've heard from so many Nagas telling me when they visit India, they experience racism. So when they tell me to be careful, it's coming from a place of experiencing this pain. And I understand that, but see, you can't fight hate with hate or fear with fear. It will just become this disaster, this conflict that will never be resolved. So the only way to come out of that in victory is to fight it with love. If you see the world from a place of love and compassion, you will see the people who are saying all these racist things towards you. They're saying it out of fear. They're afraid of being different, and they're just attacking you because they want to protect themselves. And if you can see that, you can just not be bothered by it and just respond with love. Hey, you may call me this, but that's not who I am, but I love you still. I'm gonna send you my love because we are all the same. We are all deserving. We're all worthy. We are either operating from this place of fear or love. So you get to choose, right? Just because you've had this experience of fear in the past doesn't mean you have to live it constantly and respond with the same low frequency. You can respond from your higher self and respond with love, compassion, and empathy. You know, at the end of the day, we're all the same. We're all human beings, and there's enough wars in this world. So I hope you at least find peace within your own country and within your own state, and to not create this division. Before coming to India, did you have any stereotypes or misconceptions that changed after your visit? There's this thing I've heard before coming to India. The reason why foreigners get food poisoning is because Indians wipe their ass with their hands and water after they go number 2, and they don't really wash their hands properly, and then they cook with the same hands and serve you food, and that's why you get food poisoning. And I was like, there's no way that's true. That is absolutely disgusting. Like, why would you wipe your ass with your hands? But when I came to Nagaland, I learned that that is the norm. Everyone does it. And one friend actually told me that he thinks it's disgusting to use toilet paper. And I was like, okay, that's a very different thought that we have here. Until one day, I was in a situation, I ran out of toilet paper and I couldn't access it. So I had to do the deed using my hands and water. And although, you know, I wasn't a professional at it because no one taught me how to do it, I did it. And you know what? It came out very squeaky clean, and I was like, you know, he's right. Using toilet paper is more disgusting. It's not as clean. It is just more convenient and in a way sanitary if you don't have access to clean water and soap to wash your hands before and after. But I no longer thought that wiping your ass with your hands was disgusting. And I realized that there's no right or wrong answer. Neither of the methods are disgusting. It's just different. And it's just up to whatever you were taught when you were little and what you were used to doing throughout your life. That's it. That's the only difference. And it taught me to not make quick judgments based on stereotypes. Which Northeast Indian food did you like the most? There were so many foods I loved, but I have to say fermented bamboo shoots. The first time I tried it, I didn't like it because I thought the smell was coming from the pork and it was this like foul smell. But then someone told me it was the bamboo shoot and I was like, oh. And my brain immediately switched this foul smell into something more pleasant, like it's a smell of a vegetable. And it changed the flavor too, and it started tasting so good, I just couldn't get enough. Top 3 most memorable experiences throughout your journey in India. Name the states and places. Okay, number 1, camping in Meghalaya. Number 2, visiting the Kongtong village in Meghalaya. And number 3, the entire Nagaland series. I cannot choose one. It is one whole story, one chapter of my life that I will never forget and I will cherish forever. What was the best experience in Nagaland? Out of all the crazy wild adventures I've been on in Nagaland, the best experience was actually very mundane and an everyday part of life in Nagaland. We were just coming back from Zugu Valley and I got to stay at my friend's place, and when we arrived it was almost 11 p.m. and his mother was there with a feast prepared for us, and his sister was there making fire for us because we were both hungry and very cold. And I was like, this is unreal, because if this was back home and my brother showed up with friends at 11 p.m. I would be so annoyed. Like, why are you bringing friends at this hour? And I wouldn't even come out of the room to say hi. But here I was in Nagaland. We were all just sitting around a fire, having a delicious meal and having a good time. And all of a sudden, his friend, who just happened to be in the area, showed up because he was hungry and he just asked for a meal and it was given to him. a full plate of food. I was like, wow, this is humanity at its core. And the next day, we were all just like sitting by the sun, listening to music, and one by one, his neighbors started to show up, and some people would just say hi and walk away, or some came to stay for tea. And I really felt like I've traveled back in time somehow, or I was in this drama called Reply 1988. That's the only place I've seen this level of love within the community, where people just show up unannounced and they're fed food, and it's just like everyone is a member of the community and you're there to help each other and just celebrate life together. It's so beautiful. And it was the most precious moment of my whole time in Nagaland. Do you recommend people to visit the Northeast, and why? Absolutely yes. I think you guys should already know the reason by now, but Northeast is definitely a hidden gem. People are so pure and innocent. There's a lot of beautiful traditions still being preserved so well, and it might not be there forever, so I definitely do recommend people visit now while it's still alive and thriving. So yeah, go visit Northeast. Will you visit India again? Will you come back to Arunachal Pradesh or Nagaland? Yes, yes, yes. I don't know when, but I definitely will, especially Arunachal, because I made a mistake with the permit and I wasn't allowed to enter Menchuka or Anini, so I definitely want to explore those areas. In Nagaland, I just want to go back and have fun and party with you guys at the Hornbill Festival, and there's more districts that I missed, so I can definitely explore the rest of Nagaland. And of course, India is a massive country and there's so many states I haven't visited and so many hidden gems to discover, so I'll definitely visit again and again. Will you visit Japan again? Hi, I really want to visit Japan again. I love the food, the culture, everything. I just feel so like happy and bubbly when I'm in Japan. Everything is just so cute. And I really want to visit like the very remote places in Japan, because I believe there's so much beauty in the villages. Next time I'll explore the hidden gems of Japan. Top country in your bucket list. Okay, it's not a country, but Antarctica, the continent, has been on my bucket list for so long. I plan on visiting Africa this year, and after that, Antarctica would be the only continent I haven't explored, so that is on the top of my bucket list. Tell us your worst experience in India and what could have been the best outcome of that experience if it had a different story. Well, if it had a different story, then there wouldn't be a story at all. I truly believe that everything happens for a reason, and I never think about the what ifs and what could have been, because that's beyond your control and you can't go back in time. So I'd rather spend my precious time thinking about what I've learned from that experience, because there's always something to gain from any situation. It could be a discovery of the self, and I like to use that. It's actually an opportunity that universe has given you to learn something about yourself. Oh, this triggers me. Oh, I still have this part of me that is not healed, or I'm still holding on to this trauma. And you can just reflect on yourself and learn and grow from that. All right, next category is YouTube. What made you start YouTube? So I have a little confession to make. This channel was not meant to be a travel vlogging channel, and I'll tell you what happened. So when I started this channel, I wanted to focus on self-growth and share my spiritual journey and the cycle of spiritual awakening, and hopefully inspire people to heal their inner child, let go of their traumas, and just blossom into the best, the most favorite version of yourself. That was the whole idea. So I sat down to film my first episode and I had a whole script ready, and I got stuck on the first sentence. I was repeating it, I was fumbling it for like 2 hours. I'm not kidding you, I was trying to say this one sentence for like 2 hours and I just couldn't get past it. And I think I just wasn't ready to sit in front of a camera and share my deepest spiritual experiences. It was just not natural for me. I was like, I can't do this, I'm not ready. And right there and then I could have just given up on this whole idea of YouTube. But at this point in my life, I had already built so much resilience. I wasn't going to give up that easily. So I asked myself, okay, what is the most natural situation for me? Like, where or when do I feel the most natural, the most authentic version of me? The answer was so simple. It was travel. When I travel, especially alone, I become the most authentic, pure version of me without ever wanting to meet someone else's expectations or people please. And so I booked my first trip to Japan and started vlogging, and that's just how it started. But now this channel has become disguised as travel vlogs, but in secret, I'm kind of sharing my spiritual journey with all of you, and hopefully it helps at least one person. What does the accomplishment of reaching 100,000 subscribers mean to you personally? First of all, thank you guys so much. We did it. The real goal of this channel is to create my own community, a family of my own. I've mentioned in one of my videos that my parents are divorced when I was young, and I grew up in a very hostile environment. I never had that loving family who gave me unconditional love. And you don't get to choose your family, right? But I realized if I do this, I get to choose my own family, and I get to create my own community of people, of like-minded people who are there to support each other and just bring out the best in each other. And that's why my message is always clear, is to spread love and joy, because that is the only thing that's going to heal all of us, and that is the only thing that will win at the end. So personally, it means the world to me that this community is growing day by day, and I get to connect with all of you on a deeper level. I actually cried at some of the questions I received for this Q&A, because I could tell that the questions were coming from such a deep understanding of who I am as a person, as a spiritual being, and I could see that these people were also on the same path of healing. And that to me is literally the dream come true, is to connect with like-minded people or people on the same path, because it is a very lonely path. Not everyone is awakened. Most of us are still blinded by our egos. They're living a life of a lie, of an illusion, of this life that was fed to them by society, of this is what you're supposed to want, this is what you're supposed to chase. They don't even know what race they're running in. They're just on autopilot. So it's such a breath of fresh air to meet other people and fellow human beings, spiritual beings, who are choosing to go on this rough path. It's not easy, it's not for everyone. And to know that there are other people out there, it's like getting a warm hug, like a virtual hug from you guys. So thank you. Thank you so much. 감사합니다. How do you handle negativity or criticism while building your community? So again, it comes down to self-love. When you have self-love, you can choose your own self-worth. And when you believe your own worthiness, these negativity or criticisms will not bother you. If there is a genuine criticism on something that I need to work on, then I can take that valuable feedback and learn and grow and become a better creator. But if there's negativity with intentions to hurt me or bring me down, I know exactly where that is coming from. It's coming from people who are hurt themselves and they're miserable with their lives, and they're trying to make other people miserable because that's what they know. They don't know love. They've never experienced it. So in the beginning, I actually used to respond and tell them you're worthy of love and share my blessings, but that also came back even more negative, and that made me realize you just can't help people who are not ready to accept help. So now when I read such comments, I just let it go, because I cannot change this person. That is beyond my control. What I can control is my attitude and my reaction and how I respond to this negativity, and I choose to just let it go. Whatever they said is a reflection of who they are and has absolutely nothing to do with me and my self-worth. So I just try to send them my love. Who inspired you to be a content creator? What advice would you give to people who want to become content creators but are held back for some reason? There's so many people that inspire me to be on this journey. I mean, our world is filled with inspirations everywhere you look, but at the end of the day, the only person that can inspire me to take action and start this brand new journey was me. I am my biggest inspiration, and I'm always trying to be a small percent better than my past self. And sometimes it doesn't look so pretty. There's a lot of falling back to my old habits, and it's a messy road, but still going on the right path of self-discovery and self-actualization. And when you start going in the right direction, it's crazy how the universe just aligns everything for you. You just need to start. And if you're held back for some reason, again, the only person that's going to hold you back is yourself. It's not your friends, it's not your family, it's not the situation you live in right now. It's you. You are the problem. You are the only person that's holding you back. Just believe in yourself, reprogram your subconscious mind, and let go of all your limiting beliefs, and your life will change. All right, next category is future plans. What are your future plans for YouTube? I don't like to make concrete plans. Everything's very spontaneous and just natural flow. I definitely want to continue exploring my curiosity of this world and discover new places, go to Africa, go to Antarctica, places I've never been to, definitely visit more tribes. I just love watching people living in the most natural states and away from civilization, just being a part of the community that they're building, and I think it's beautiful. I want to do more hiking and getting myself fully immersed in nature as often as possible and becoming Mother Nature's best friend. And lastly, I want to do some dedicated videos on self-growth and hopefully inspire some of you to find your light, and we can shine our unique lights and share our unique gifts with the world and hopefully make it a slightly better place for all of us to thrive together. Do you plan on going back to corporate? Nope, never. When I left, I made a promise to myself to never work for someone else again. And now I love working for myself and just being aligned with my values and what I believe in. How does it feel to sell your house and all your possessions to travel the world? Do you sometimes miss having a home? So when I sold my condo, it was one of the most liberating feelings ever. I felt completely free. There was nothing holding me back, and I was no longer tied to this place that never really felt like I belonged there. I mean, I do miss having a home, a place where I can fully rest and be myself and completely alone in solitude and just have a place to keep my stuff and my valuables. But the freedom that comes with not having that is so worth it for me right now. So I'm just gonna be on the road for some time until I find that dream place where I can call home. Right, the final category is spirituality. What fuels your passion for discovery, leading you to forsake luxury for the unknown? I love this question. I know the answer based on my life experience, because every time I step outside my comfort zone into this unknown, life, the universe, rewards me with the greatest gift. I have the best time out of it. I learned something incredible, something life-changing. It made who I am today. I mean, if I hadn't gone into this complete unknown world of traveling solo, I would not be here talking to you guys. This would not exist. The thing that you're seeking in life, the thing you want the most, your treasure, lies inside the cave of your greatest fear. That is exactly what fuels my passion for discovery. When I step outside my comfort zone into the unknown, I know that is where I will find my treasure. What have you learned recently that changed your perspective? This literally happened a few days ago. So I already had this understanding that the healing journey is not linear. It's like a roller coaster, right? You have your days when you feel better and you're doing well, but then something triggers you and you go back down, and it's like whole chaos, but you're still going in the right direction of healing. But when it came down to spiritual awakening, I thought once you've experienced and gone through all the different stages of the cycle of spiritual awakening, I thought that's it. Like once you reach your higher self, then there's no going back, because how could you? You've had this taste of freedom, of unconditional love, this best version of you. You've met her, you've seen her, you've talked to her, you are her at this point. So why would you ever give that up and go back to your old self? Like, that to me was crazy. But recently I've had this episode of depression for no reason. Out of nowhere I felt depressed, and I was so confused as to why I'm back to the state of depression. I thought I would never see it again, and I just kind of let it be because I knew the universe will give me the answer. And when I opened up YouTube, there was this video that showed me the cycle of spiritual awakening. Just like the healing journey, it's not linear and it's not just one loop. It's a whole dance of different stages that you will go back and forth, and you just have to relive it and live it until it really hits you and really sticks with you. That is just the natural cycle, and you don't have to question it. You don't have to doubt yourself because you're falling back. You just have to trust the process and keep going. Was there a defining moment, a conversation, a book, or even a fleeting thought that made you take the leap from a stable government job to this uncertain yet beautiful journey? So it's funny that you mentioned a book, because I love to read and I used to read a lot, and there were so many stories that resonated so deeply with me. A storyline where the protagonist has the seemingly perfect life, the perfect job, the perfect partner, a perfect house, everything is just a perfect life that we all think we want, and yet they're not happy. If anything, they're miserable, and they spend years of their lives living someone else's dream just to realize that it was never meant for them, and they decide to leave it all. Every time I read stories like this, it makes me cry so much. At the same time, there's a part of me that knows this will happen. happen to me. One day I will break down and finally have the courage to admit that this is not the life I was meant to live. I'm living someone else's dreams, and that's exactly what happened. I knew it in my gut, in my instincts, that this was meant to be, and I'm gonna go live and create my own dream life. And the defining moment was when I discovered self-love and self-worth. I knew I could do this. I knew I deserve it and I'm worthy of it, and that's just how it all started. Do you feel like you found what you were searching for, or has the journey itself become the answer? I think the answer is already within this question. The journey itself is always the answer. Actually, one time my friend from back home sent me a message. He said, "Hey, I hope you find what you're looking for out there." And I responded, "I already found everything I needed within. I'm just out here living my best life." Has traveling and experiencing different cultures shaped your beliefs about spirituality or the meaning of life in unexpected ways? One of the most beautiful lessons I've learned while traveling is that when you have less, you're happier. Because I notice people with less in developing countries are able to find joy in the smallest things, and they know how to find happiness. And they remind themselves that every day they wake up is a miracle, and they don't take it for granted. And I think that's the true beauty of life. We're just here to enjoy it, to have fun, and just exist. That's it. You really look confident while interacting with people. What was the process like to reach this point where you naturally interact with strangers? So again, it comes back down to self-love. When you discover self-love, it actually gives you a superpower to stop caring what other people think about you, because you know who you are. You have chosen your own self-worth, and now no one else has that power over you. And when that fear of judgment is gone, it is replaced with complete freedom to be your true authentic self. And that shows up in this world as confidence. What was your weakness and strength throughout your journey? For most part of my life, I used to struggle with my sensitivity and the way I feel so deeply. I was told many times that I'm too sensitive and I'm overreacting, and my feelings were not validated, which caused me to create this low self-worth. But ever since the day I decided to take the power back and choose my own self-worth, that same weakness of sensitivity has now turned into the greatest strength ever. The way I feel so deeply has given me this unique lens of how I see the world, and how I see the world is so beautiful. Our lives are literally miracles. The fact that the sun rises every morning, and the fact that I have this completely capable body to go for a swim and feel the ocean breeze on my face and watch the sun paint the sky in reds and violets before he sets, and it's just everything. This world is filled with beautiful poetry, and I see that every day, and that is the greatest gift I could have ever asked for. What would you say to someone who is indecisive? I used to struggle so much with indecisiveness, and I still do sometimes, but now I at least have an understanding of where it comes from. For me, a part of it comes from my perfectionism and not wanting to make a mistake, so it paralyzes me from making any decisions because I don't want to make the wrong decision. Another part of it is if you were exposed to someone who was constantly telling you what to do, or even making serious life decisions for you, then chances are you haven't developed that skill to be decisive on your own, and therefore you find it hard to trust yourself to make the right choice. So now I focus on the fact that no matter what decision I make, it's going to be the right one, because I truly believe the universe is out there looking out for me, and it is aligning my life with what I need in that given moment. So if I were to make the wrong decision, then I was meant to make that wrong decision, because that failure is what I needed to experience to take me to the next chapter. So with that understanding, now I'm more confident in making decisions, because there's going to be always something to gain from that experience. What is the biggest thing you're currently regretting in your life? When I was in high school, my friend died in a car accident. Up until that point, I had this belief that life was granted, that we would die of old age, and that's the only kind of death we would ever experience. I had no idea our lives could be taken away like that, and this planted a seed of fear inside me, a fear of having regrets when it's time to say goodbye. So for the rest of my life, my only goal was to make sure I don't create any regrets. And I learned that it is always better to do something and regret it, because at least you can learn something from that and move on, But if you never try, you will never know, and that will create a bigger regret. So my life now is dedicated to trying things, even if it means I will fail, and living my life to the fullest. If you could go back and give your past self one piece of advice before starting this journey, what would it be? So every time in my life when I was going through something hard and painful, I could hear this faint whisper in my heart telling me that everything's gonna be okay, that I will get through this, that I am stronger than I think, and it gives me just enough hope to keep going. And now that I understand our world is a fourth dimensional world, with the fourth dimension being time, and the fact that the past, the present, and the future, they all coexist, and it is all happening right now in this moment, I got to realize that that voice was actually my future self. And so now every time something triggers me and it reminds me of a moment in my past where I was really struggling, then I take that moment to send a message of hope to my past self. And I tell her everything's gonna be okay. I'm here right with you. You're worthy. You're enough. You're validated. You're accepted. You're deeply loved. I love you so much. And I know that message was sent and she could hear my voice because, well, I'm sitting here. I'm still here breathing. Have you ever faced a situation where you felt things were hard and you had no more strength to push forward? What kept you going? It was that voice from my future self. You see, the ego, your loud burst in your head, the negative self-talk, you're not good enough, you're not worthy, you're a failure, you're a disappointment, you're never gonna make it, you're too lazy, you're pathetic. That is your ego trying to protect itself because it doesn't want to go through the pain of disappointment, of failure. It would rather choose to suffer in the current situation because it is safe. It is what's familiar. You're used to that environment. It is your comfort zone. You have to have the courage to sit down on your own in silence and be able to just accept your negative self-talk, the ego, and just let it go. And when you're calm, you can start to listen to the whisper of your heart, your higher self. And sometimes the message is too good to be true, but trust me, it is true. So listen to that voice and dream big dreams because you're worthy of it all. What message do you like to convey to a person living in a loop of depression and not able to get out of it? So if there's something I said today that moved your heart or sparked something within you, you are ready to change. You may believe that depression is caused by your external factors like your family, friends, career, education, money, or lack of any of it. But it's not true. It is a mental state of being and it happens all within, which means the problem and the solution lies within. You have everything within you already right now to make that change, to live a life without depression. And once you've mentally accepted this fact, you can just start making small changes. Take small actions of self-love. Do things that make you feel loved and bring you joy and fulfillment. And every time you make these choices, take a moment to actively acknowledge the fact that you are choosing to do this for you because you love yourself and you are worthy. And slowly but surely, your depression will start to fade away, and this dark cloud of depression that is just taking over your life will fade. Sometimes it will rain, and that's okay. You just keep going, and one day you will see this beautiful rainbow, and you will get to live the life you're meant to live, and you'll shine brighter than the stars. What is your biggest dream? Wow, that is the ultimate question, isn't it? My biggest dream is to be alive, to witness the collective healing, universal collective healing, when every living soul on earth, all the human beings, we wake up from our egos and realize our true potentials and why we are really here to have this beautiful human experience, and we can all thrive together, dance together in life, and just celebrate this miracle that we get to experience every day. That is my biggest dream. Last question. Your smile is just as beautiful as the fresh morning, but there is a saying, people with the most beautiful smile usually go through a dark phase at some point in life, because there's something behind that innocent smile, something very helpless, something that echoes but unheard. What is it, dear Jasmin? Well, first of all, I don't know who you are or what you're doing with your life, but you have this magic with words, and I hope you are using it and sharing your light with the rest of us To answer your question, I mean, we all have that story we tell ourselves, right? Everyone has one. I used to carry one around me. I used to be attached to it. It was who I was the story was me, and it gave me a lot of resentment, so I decided to let it go. I can't say I'm completely free of it now, but at least I'm no longer attached, and all that is left is the strength and resilience I've gained from that dark phase of my life, which is exactly what I need to be the true owner of my life. And now I get to fill in the rest of my chapters with beautiful stories. Well, that is it for this first Q&A. Thank you so much for being a part of it, and if you're still watching, thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye! I love you all so much.